Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to an ESPN NFL 2K5 franchise rebuild with the Detroit Lions. We are over the halfway point in this second season, and we are taking on two tough teams to try and get ourselves into the winning column in the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. Before we head into those games, we check out how everything went down last week. You can see Minnesota getting another big victory over the New England Patriots, and our upcoming opponent, the Buffalo Bills, also were able to take home a victory in the previous week. So we're going to move on to seeing our first opponent of the week as you see that Buffalo victory over the New York Jets, which are our division rivals, the scorching hot Minnesota Vikings, led by Dante Culpepper, having a strong season under center. Of course, it's easy to have a strong season under center when you have tools like Michael Bennett behind you to distract defenses from that strong running game, averaging 4 yards a carry this year, getting into the end zone 4 times so far. 93 overall is good, but Randy Moss is literally perfect in this game. A 100 overall. His stats do not line up with being 100 overall, but he is on track for 1,000 yards overall this year. Matt Burke, an elite member of the offensive line there at center, so they got a lot of protection, including their elite left tackle, Bryant McKinney. So they have two offensive linemen that are rated 90 overall or better. As you remember from our game against the Bears, or actually the Washington team, that we had a hard time against a highly rated overall offensive line. Corey Chavis, the elite strong safety. There's also some other tools over there, but they are experiencing some injuries. Both of the fullbacks out for this game, including the rookie tight end Jack Guzman with a torn MCL. So this is how we're looking on paper. We actually are overall better than the Minnesota Vikings, currently standing at 6-2. So let's see if we can go ahead and get ourselves a victory in this first game of 2. And before we do, we are on the road to 250, baby. So if you've subscribed so far, thank you so much. And if you haven't, taking that moment to smash that sub button would mean the world to us. Thank you so much for being here. Like and comment as well for the sake of that engagement. And let's jump into this first game. Minnesota Vikings visiting the Detroit Lions here at Ford Field. We're back in Detroit for our first game of 2. And we're really hoping we've had success against the Vikings before, despite the fact that they tend to line up a little bit better than us on paper. And we're hoping to have another victory here for our home fans as both teams get ready to do these things, and the Detroit faithful always out in numbers, especially when the Minnesota Vikings come to town. The Lions do get the first possession of the game. Alvin Fowler, our rookie quarterback, still having that starting job from Joey Harrington, gets a 5-yard scramble up the middle. As a reminder, we are without the services of Teddy Lamont and, as I hear, Hakeem for the next couple of days as they are on the injury report. We are with the services of Deshaun Foster once again, who gets up the middle for 3 yards. Chris Claiborne has gotten both of the tackles so far for the Minnesota defense, but that one on the 3rd and 2 is complete from Fowler to Steven Alexander, the tight end, taking it in for 6 yards, and then Charles Rogers is going to go ahead and times that by a solid 11. 66 yards slipping past the Minnesota secondary, and Charles Rogers and the Detroit Lions strike first barely a minute into this Sunday night football matchup. You can see here Charles just slipping right past that single coverage, can't make the tackle, and Charles is all the way gone. No one even coming close to catches him as he skips into the end zone for a 66-yard touchdown pass, and Alvin Fowler finds his receiver for a touchdown. The Lions are up 6 or 7-0, I should say. After the 2-yard run from Michael Bennett, Culpepper finds Randy Moss for 5 yards. Hamilton getting in there for the tackle. 3rd and 3 on the outside and missing Randy Moss. Bad timing from Culpepper to Moss on that one, and the Vikings go 3 and out. Momentum is all up in the Lions' favor so far. Foster shedding a tackle, getting up the middle for 5 yards. Fowler dropping back and is going to take his first sack of the game. That's Chavis getting through for a loss of 6. The strong safety getting the sack on that one, and then Fowler, I think that was an out route to Charles Rogers. He completely just misses his man, and we're going to get that 3 and out right back to the Vikings. Bennett gets up the middle for 5 yards. Our rookie Navarro getting off the line for the tackle. 2nd and 5, Bennett getting another 5 yards up the middle. Hamilton and Farmer getting the tackle, stopping him just short of the line. 3rd and inches, Bennett slipping over to his right, slipping out of the hands of Terrence Hull, and he is loose. 20-15, 10-5. Boss Bailey can't catch him. and the Minnesota Vikings get right back on the board behind a 50-yard run from Michael Bennett. We saw before the game that he was rated at that 93 overall, so we knew that there was a chance that he could slip some tackles and get into the end zone, and Michael Bennett does just that and ties this thing right back up. Score is now 7-7. Lions taking back over from their own 19. Foster trying to find something up the middle, meets Claiborne for just 2 yards. Fowler dropping back, rolling to his right, finding rookie Derek Hamilton. I keep calling him a rookie because he was hurt all last season. Is it like a Ben Simmons situation where if you're hurt for the entire season, can we call them a rookie? Regardless, the game considers them a second-year player, so we have to remember that he's a second-year player. That pass from Fowler to Foster is complete, but an offensive holding call is going to bring the Lions back to a 1st and 20. That is a dangerous pass to the right side by Fowler. That's falling incomplete. Lucky it's not falling for more. 2nd and 20 for the Lions. Fowler trying to get something, and he only gets a big sack, taking us back even farther. Lyon in there to get the big sack for the Vikings, going for it all on 3rd and 27. Probably would have been safer just running the ball, but that's going to be another 3rd down incomplete. The Vikings getting the ball back with great field position at the Detroit 47. Culpepper immediately finds the big boss, Randy Moss, for 16 yards, moving the chain up to the Detroit 31, and Dante Culpepper has officially thrown for over 2,000 yards in this season. He's going to get 2,000 and some more yards right here, finding Randy Moss again over the left side for 17 yards, and that's going to take us into the end of the first quarter. We got a tie ball game so far in this one, 7-7 here at Ford Field. Bennett's going to get that toss over to the right side, skipping forward for 2 yards. Freeman and Farmer in there on the tackle. Culpepper rolling back to the right side, throwing it over to the right, and Sam freaking Hamilton, the Stanford man, using those smarts, stepping in front of the pass, and guess what? He's got the room to run, gets that block from Norris, and no one is in front of him, crossing the 10-5, eludes that Bennett pursuit all the way for a pick six. That is a huge pick six from Sam Hamilton, and the Detroit defense dance on them, my friend, and that is a touchdown for the Detroit Lions. They are celebrating big time here in Ford Field, and the Vikings will try again from their own 31. Culpepper finding Bennett on the left flat for 5 yards. Bailey getting the tackle in pursuit. Bennett getting to the right side. Farmer getting the tackle, but he gets a 6-yard gain, moving the chains up to the Minnesota 42. Bennett running to the right side for another 6-yard gain. Holt and Farmer combining for the tackle. 2nd and 4. Culpepper looking to pass this time. Incomplete over to the left side. Boss Bailey almost had a pick for himself. On the next play, 3rd and 4, another pass from Culpepper. This one threading the needle through the window of 2 Lions defenders, and Randy Moss is going to slow step his way into the end zone. High steps with a little shimmy shake, and Randy Moss, just like that, has tied this thing back up again. So the Lions have done a good job of making big plays, but the Vikings come back with some big plays of their own. Both of their touchdowns so far have been for 50 yards or more on that 52-yard reception from Randy Moss. That is a touchdown and a tie game, 14-14, about halfway through this second quarter. After that no-gain run from Foster up the middle, Fowler fights Rogers for the 9-yard toss. It's not a toss. He threw the ball. You understand what I mean. Schlesinger gets the big 8-yard run up the middle. That's a first down to the Detroit 38. Fowler finds Williams on the left side. Unfortunately, that's going to be a loss of 3 yards on that bad pass. It forced him to kind of fall over. Rolling to his left, Fowler fires that one to Rogers, who has it once again. That is a 28-yard gain. He has 103 yards on just 3 catches. The penalty was a defensive pass interference. We would decline since it was a good catch and it moved the chains. That next pass from Fowler was errant, luckily not intercepted. He was looking for Ben Watson over the middle. I think we forget that it was actually pretty windy in this game considering the big pass plays that have happened so far, but there is a big crosswind. Foster finally getting a little bit of room for that 6-yard gain, but we couldn't find Schlesinger over on the right side. And then the 48-yard field goal by Hansen falls just short of the uprights. We're not able to take any advantage of that drive, and Minnesota takes back over with the ball on their own 39. Bennett getting the toss to the left side. Luckily, our defense was ready for it. Bly and Holt combining for the tackle for no gain. Culpepper's going to complete that one over on the right side to Robinson. Almost looked like a wide receiver screen of sorts. Farmer breaking through for the tackle. 3rd and 5. Culpepper completes it. Who else but Randy Moss getting 14 yards and a first down. Culpepper looking to throw again, and this time Boss Bailey is going to get the interception. Stepping in front of this one, and if you know anything about Boss Bailey, is that dude is fast, crossing the 10, the 5, and again, 2 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. Huge work from our defense here in this game so far, and we are up 21-14 off of the work of Boss Bailey and, of course, Sam Hamilton. Shout out to Sam Hamilton. But this is Boss Bailey's highlight as he snatches that one out of the air. And again, no one is going to touch him in pursuit because Boss is fast like that. And we get the touchdown, and that's going to take us into halftime with a huge turnover for a touchdown, 2 of them to be exact, giving us the lead, and it is quite literally the only reason why we have the leads, but I'd rather be lucky than good, and our defense has been both lucky and good. I mean, you're good if you're getting interceptions, although the Vikings have been outgaining us in total, 193-142. We would love to see a little bit more success out of Deshaun Foster, but our rookie Alvin Fowler holding his own. The Vikings are going to get another shot at this going into the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10, Bennett gets up the middle for just 1 yard. Hall doing some work off of the defensive line. Bennett getting just 1 yard up the middle again. Boss Bailey getting some tackles into his stat sheet. And this time Nate Burleson is going to get the reception for 20 yards, moving the chain up to the Minnesota 49. Culpepper finding Moss again. Again, that looked like that little wide receiver screen play. Farmer and Hamilton are on it quickly. That's a 5-yard gain. Bennett gets up the middle, but Big Sean Rogers making sure it's a loss on the play. Our defensive line is playing very well so far today. 3rd and 6. Culpepper's pass over to the right side. Even Randy Moss is not able to take in a deep ball with 3 Lions covering him. So that is a 3-3. Well, it's not a 3 and out. Technically, they got 1 reception or 1 first down. So it's a 2 and out, I guess. Whatever. The Lions take over from their own 20. Foster gets no gain up the middle. Rogers again with that quick out play. Hasn't quite hit it yet. That's only a 3-yard gain. Fowler rolling right, slinging it to the outside. Can't find the outstretched hands of Charles Rogers. That was the 3 and out. We give it right back to the Vikings. From the Minnesota 43, Bennett only getting 1 yard up the middle. Other than that one big gain, he hasn't done too much damage to us so far. Although, you know, a 50-yard touchdown run is damage if you consider it that way. 3rd and 7, Robinson's going to get the reception. He had some space in front of him, but he runs out of bounds before crossing over the first down line. Getting a little pep talk from his lineman, but a pep talk does not get the ball to the Vikings. That's going to be a first down for the Lions, and I remember when this happened live, I meant to slide with Fowler, but I guess I didn't let go of the buttons quick enough or something like that, and Fowler decided to throw the ball. That's obviously an illegal forward pass that moves us back to a 1st and 15 from our own 5. Schlesinger getting 3 of those yards back. We need to throw this one from the 2nd and 12. We do find Roy Williams. He's been quiet all game so far, but Roy Williams takes that one in for 16 yards. And you can see here our rookie Alvin Fowler having himself a game so far. Great quarterback rating, 1 touchdown, and more importantly, no big interceptions to see so far. Foster gets up the middle for 4 yards, tackled by Henderson. 2nd and 6, Fowler's going to find Derek Hamilton stepping in for Azahir Hakeem on those 3 receiver situations. That's a 6-yard reception and a first down. Fowler can't find Foster on that right side pass. He's going to bring up a 2nd and 10, dropping back on the play action, rolling to his right, rolling even farther to his right, rolling even more to his right, trying to find Roy on the right side who has the catch, but he was out of bounds. That's going to be an incomplete pass, 3rd and 10. Fowler throwing to Foster on the left side. Man, say that 3 times fast, which I probably have so far. But Moore makes a great tackle, and that's going to leave us just short of the first down line. That's going to give the Vikings the ball back on their own 33. Culpepper looking for that Randy Moss magic. Can't find him over the right side. Bennett going to get a run this time, breaking loose a little bit. Norris can't tackle him. Holt does, but it's an 11-yard gain for Bennett, and the Vikings move the chains up to the Minnesota 44. Bennett gets the next run, middle up the 3 yards. Zach Thomas, quiet so far, getting his first tackle of the game. 2nd and 7, Randy Moss getting the completion completion despite the defensive pass interference. That would be a gain of 16 yards, and that takes us into the fourth quarter of this one. The Lions holding on to their lead by a score of 21-14, but the Vikings are knocking at the door. Bennett running to the right side, getting 6 yards on that one. Sam Hamilton getting that tackle, and on the 2nd and 4, Ontario Smith eludes Dre Bly and Terrence Holt, and he's going to take that one in for 31 yards and a touchdown. And just like that, with just 30 seconds ticking off the clock in this fourth quarter, the Vikings have tied this thing up thanks to the beautiful stop and drop pass from Dante Culpepper to Ontario Smith, the backup running back, hitting over on the left side flat, and he eludes Dre Bly. As we see, Dre Bly, man, I don't know. We got to do something about Dre Bly maybe next year as we head into our next possession. And Deshaun Foster was due, and he works for us. He gets 33 yards on that pass to the left flat. That is a beautiful play from Deshaun Foster. We're going to find Charles Rogers over the right side for a 9-yard gain. Winfield barely tackling him before the first down line, and Foster will get the 3 yards needed to move the chains into Minnesota territory. That is now at the Minnesota 37. Fowler throwing it over the middle, gets his pass deflected by the big defensive lineman. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 10. Fowler looking to pass again, throwing it over the middle. I think we got a little shaken up by that pursuing defensive line. That's a 3rd and 10, big 3rd and 10, throwing with a defensive member, pursuing him, finds Deshaun Foster for 13 yards. That is a first down, and Deshaun Foster's going to just take it himself. He was due for a big run, and a big run he gets, getting his speed into the end zone for 24 yards and the lead right back to those Detroit Lions. Big play here on Sunday Night Football from Deshaun Foster. He was about to outrun his blocking, but somehow it worked in our favor. He pushes through the original pursuit, and no one touches him for those 24 yards. But Bennett is not done working. Works his way out of a tackle. Missed by Sam Hamilton. Terrence Holt is pursuing. Sam Farmer is pursuing, but that is a 51-yard gain by Michael Bennett to move the chains all the way up to the Detroit 25-yard line. So just as soon as we were ready to celebrate the lead, Michael Bennett puts the Vikings in great position to strike back and tie this thing back up before time is expiring. Look at this, man. 17 carries for 145 yards, 8.5 yards per carry. A huge day for Michael Bennett, and also a huge day for Randy Moss. The very next play, a 25-yard reception for Randy Moss. Hopkins and Bryant couldn't stop him. Honestly, we should have considered taking a timeout because most of our backups were in after being super gassed from pursuing that big Michael Bennett run, but we didn't do anything to get our starters back in, and Randy Moss makes us pay. That's a 25-yard reception and a first down. So the Lions, we have plenty of time. 4 minutes left on the clock. We have plenty of time to find our way down the field and get into the end zone or get a field goal. As you can see, Alvin Fowler has been that dude so far. A great day so far for the rookie. Schlesinger is going to get this one up the middle on 2nd and 2. That's going to be no gain. Russell is in there on the stop, and then we do what we should have done the first time, which is give the ball to Deshaun, who shakes a couple of tackles. He gets up the middle for 13 yards. That is a first down for the Detroit Lions. We want this game. 1st and 10 from the Detroit 41. Fowler looking to pass, throws it over the right side, had Steven Alexander with a step, but just misses him. That falls incomplete. Foster's going to go over to the left side, getting tackled by Long. No gain on that play. That brings up a 3rd and 10. Fowler, quick drop back, dropping to his right, throwing it on the move. Not even close to Charles Rogers. That's going to bring up 4th down. We will punt it away and hope that our defense can hold up over these last 2 minutes. This first play is not a good one. Bennett getting 11 yards over the middle. That's going to bring the chains up to the Minnesota 33. Culpepper dropping back, finding Randy Moss on the quick slant, who eludes Sam Farmer and gets over to the right side for another 10 yards, move the chains up to the Minnesota 42. Bennett getting up the middle for 2 yards. Chris Hovan getting onto the stat sheet with a tackle. 2nd and 8. Bennett going up the middle again for 3 yards. Don't really understand why they're running it so many times here under the 2-minute mark. But Culpepper is going to drop back, find Randy Moss again with the 5-yard gain. It's going to get called a 4th down just south of the spot, and the booth doesn't review it. So the Vikings decide to punt the ball. We are not able to score. We decide to run the clock out and try our luck in overtime, and the Vikings will take over here in overtime. Culpepper finds Robinson right away for a 13-yard gain. Bennett getting that, well, they call it a run because it was a backwards pass, so it's a 6-yard gain up to that 2nd and 4. And then Bennett's going to get another reception to the left side. That one was called a reception. It's a 12-yard gain up to the 1st and 10 at the Detroit 39. Culpepper completes to Moss for 5 yards. Farmer stopping him quickly. Culpepper deciding to pass this one out of the outstretched hands of Ontario Smith. That was the same play that they scored on before, so I don't blame them for doing it. And then he throws it away again. He throws way too early, misses Randy Moss by a mile, and the Lions have another chance here in overtime. Fowler we had Roy Williams with a step, and we just missed him. 2nd and 10, Foster's going to get that run. Big juke, just gets out of a tackle and gets up the middle for 10 yards. That's a first down up to the Detroit 20. Fowler dropping back, has some time to throw, gets it off before he gets hit, but almost has that pass intercepted. Lucky that it wasn't. Foster trying to repeat the magic he had on a 2nd down run, gets a feet cut out from him. And Chris Claiborne, that's only a 2-yard gain, 3rd and 8. Richards had the ball in his hands, and he drops it, and that's why Derek Hamilton is in that 3rd receiver spot. The Vikings get a chance with great field position from their own 46, but Culpepper can't complete that first pass. Dropping back to pass on 2nd down, getting knocked away by that looks like Chris Cash. Great defense from the Lions. And on 3rd down already, 3rd and 10, Culpepper slinging it over the middle, and Fernando Bryant makes the deflection, and the Lions will take back over from their own 20. Fowler's going to find Foster, who spins out of a tackle, getting the first down and then some. It's a 13-yard gain, move the chains up to the Detroit 33. Fowler's going to sling that one over the middle to Steven Alexander, who makes the catch, moving the chain on the 2nd play on the row up to the Detroit 44. Foster's going to leap for some reason into a 1-yard gain. Chris Claiborne getting his name on the stat sheet for many times today. Fowler scrambling over to the right side, had somebody over the middle, but decides to do it with his legs, getting 9 yards and out of bounds for the first down. A great effort from our rookie quarterback, who has been nothing short of fantastic today. Foster's going to get up the middle for 3 yards. Henderson in on the stop. Fowler from shotgun, dropping back, sees Roy Williams with a step on his defender, slings it deep, and has his guy 37 yards and a first down all the way up at the 6-yard line. And we're not even going to hesitate, baby. We're going to just step right up, take the field goal, and thank everyone for their services. Thank you. Good night. We will take the victory over the Minnesota Vikings. We got no man. We got no need for no man on the Minnesota Vikings, because the Detroit Lions take home the victory in overtime on Sunday Night Football in front of their hometown fans by a score of 31-28. Checking out the final tale of the stats tape, they had some big plays, but we had some big plays of our own, although giving up 432 yards is not usually a recipe for success. But you can see our rookie quarterback, Alvin Fowler, going 15 for 31. His quarterback rating, I think, is worse than we should give him credit for. 259 yards and 1 touchdown to his name. And as you can see there, Dante, he had some success. He had some touchdowns, but we did manage 2 picks off of him. Michael Bennett had the kind of day that halfbacks tend to have off of our run defense. 21 attempts, 164 yards, but Deshaun Foster managed those 18 attempts for 95 yards. Both of them got into the end zone one time, and they just, good, strong running from both running backs. We love to see it. Our receiving core did a good job. I mean, Randy Moss absolutely crushed us, 12 receptions for 172 yards, but Charles Rogers, 115 yards. Roy Williams not far behind him with 61, and we had 2 touchdowns for the boss, 1 for Charles and 1 for Ontario Smith, as we saw on that 31-yarder, although they missed the opportunity to get him for a last time. Sam Farmer, the big tackler of the day, 10 of them overall. Terrence Holt having 8. Sam Hamilton with 5 unassisted. We love to see those things. Let's see if anyone else. Fernando Bryant getting on the stat sheet with his assists, 6 overall. Chris Chavis and Lyon were the 2 sackers, none for the Detroit Lions in this game. Not a lot of passes deflected. We did manage to get a couple of clean interceptions, though. Boss Bailey and Sam Hamilton, not only did they get those 2 interceptions, but they were able to take those interceptions in for touchdowns. So we get the victory over the Minnesota Vikings. We move up to 5-4. They move down to 6-3. And that, of course, is a conference victory, which is a huge victory for us. So as we head into week 11 versus the Buffalo Bills, we're standing at 5-4. That's great. We'd love to see a winning record, as are the Buffalo Bills, 5-4 overall in the AFC East. We are playing the AFC East this season, and we'll check out some of the big players on the Bills. But first, let's take a look at the stuff that happened last week. Week 10, Baltimore did manage to beat the Buffalo Bills by a score of 24-21, so they are susceptible to a loss. They maybe are losing momentum, and as you can see, we have our victory over the Minnesota Vikings, and Chicago lost as well, so that helps us in the playoff front for sure, and I believe that the Packers are at the bottom of the stack anyway. And as you can see, our injury report here, we're still without Teddy Lehman, we're still without Azahir Hakeem, and our rookie Harry Freeman, but we don't have anyone else on the injury report, and that's all we can hope for. So looking at the Buffalo Bills, JP Lossman, only a 73 overall, but once again, just like the Vikings, he has tools, and he's having a pretty decent season considering his overall rating. Sounds like someone we know, like our rookie Alvin Fowler. Travis Henry, another dangerous running back, 117 attempts for 466 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Eric Moulds leads a very talented receiver squad here on the Buffalo Bills, so they've definitely got talent on the offensive side, but maybe not as much talent on the line, which we love to see. Their talent on the defensive end, we know Takeo Spikes. We love Takeo Spikes. We may not love him today, as he is going to be brutal against us as one of the outside linebackers, and then Lawyer Malloy is holding down that strong safety spot. So the second elite strong safety that we've seen in so many games. And checking out the Bills injury report, they will be out without the services of Josh Reed, but that is it. So we will take a look at the tail of the stats tape. Now, I think their offense is probably better than a 73 overall, but once again, it's just nice to see teams that were rated more than, and we're going to go ahead and try and be the better team in this one as we travel to beautiful, gorgeous, raining sideways Buffalo, New York. At least it's not frigid and snowing, I guess. But we're here in Buffalo. We're ready to take on the Buffalo Bills, currently standing at 5-4, as are we. Our defenses have, decently talented lines. We'll see if they can make any noise in this one. And the Lions, for the second game in a row, will start with the ball. Alvin Fowler's not liking what he's seeing downfield, and he's going to get 2 yards up the middle. Big Pat Williams makes the tackle. 2nd and 8. Fowler dropping back, looking to pass again. Has Derek Williams over the middle, but he misses that one. Incomplete. 3rd and 8. Fowler dropping back, looking to pass again, throwing that one over to the left flat. Misses Deshaun Foster behind his back, and that is a 3 and out on the first possession from the Detroit Lions. 1st and 10 from the Detroit 48. Derrick Henry is going to take this one up the middle. I said Derrick Henry, didn't I? Up the middle for 9 yards. Boss Bailey in on the tackle. Henry gets that one up the middle for 4 yards. That's a 4-yard gain and a first down up to the Detroit 36. Lossman's first pass is going to fall incomplete on the deflection from our rookie Norris, in for the injured Teddy Lehman. Zach Thomas is going to get a tackle, shedding off his block, holding Henry to just a 2-yard gain. Lossman rolling out to his right side, slinging it back over to the middle, finds Eric Moulds in the middle of 3 Lions defenders. That's a 24-yard gain and a first down. The Bills move back 1 yard on the tackle from Zach Thomas, a user tackle, might I add. And we are lucky to not have that be a touchdown right there, but that's apparently because Dre Bly committed defensive pass interference. So instead of a 3rd and 11, the Bills move all the way up to the Detroit 4. Henry trying to get this one up the middle, just gets 1 yard. Thomas getting his 3rd tackle already in this young game. 2nd and goal, Travis Henry gets that toss to the right side. That was a brutal stiff arm on the rookie Sam Farmer. Says, get off of me. And Henry has the touchdown for the Buffalo Bills and the early lead, 7-0 for Buffalo. Foster's going to run over to the left side, spins out of a potential tackle, jukes out of a potential tackle from Takeo Spikes. A skillful run there from Deshaun Foster, an 11-yard gain and a first down on the Detroit 33. Fowler's going to complete that one to Schlesinger, but he has no momentum to get anything out of that. Spikes makes the tackle, no gain. Fowler's going to throw that one to the left side for Foster. Spikes is there again for the tackle. It's now 3rd and 8. Fowler dropping back, throwing this one over the middle. Roy Williams all alone takes the reception in. That's a 15-yard gain and a first down to midfield. Fowler dropping back, looking to pass again. Throwing this one deep for his man. Anaz Battle has it in his hands, but he can't hold on to it with the hit. That's a 2nd and 10. Foster's going to get the run. He's got good blocking over to this right side. He gets loose a little bit, gets to almost the 30-yard line. That's a 19-yard gain and a first down up to the Buffalo 31. Fowler's going to complete this one to Ben Watson, but he gets the defensive pass interference tacked on top of it, so what was only a few yards of the gain is going to turn into a first down gain up to the Buffalo 25. Fowler's going to drop back. This time he's going to throw it over the middle and find Derek Hamilton. I honestly don't know how he finds Derek Hamilton on that one. That was a heck of a needle thread, and Deshaun Foster jukes one man, makes a miss, and he gets 3 yards up the middle. Spikes and Malloy keep it from being a touchdown, but on the next play, Foster gets thrown into the end zone by the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills, and we're not going to question this one because the Bills don't challenge it. You can see here it looks like maybe he was down before the line, but if they're not going to challenge, then we're not going to question it, and we will tie this thing up by a score of 7-7. Henry's going to get up the middle for 4 yards, and that's going to take us into the second quarter of play. After one, we are tied here in Buffalo by a score of 7-7. Starting the second quarter on a 2nd and 6, Lossman is going to throw it over to the right side, finds Lee Evans on the right for 7 yards, and unfortunately our rookie cornerback, Sam Farmer, is going to go down with some sort of a leg injury. The cart comes out for him. He will not return in this game, and we can only hope that his injury is not too bad. Lossman immediately takes advantage of that Farmer going out and finds Shaw over on the right side. Bobby Shaw for 12 yards. A quick glimpse at the stats for Lossman so far this year. He then finds Eric Moulds for another 14 yards, bringing it into Detroit territory up at the 41. Lossman's going to complete this one to Henry, but it's going to be a loss of 1 yard. Boss Bailey on the coverage. Speedy Boss Bailey, great range on that zone coverage. This time, Lossman bails out, gets 4 yards on the scramble, slides before Zach Thomas could punish him for it. 3rd and 7, finding Moulds all alone over the middle, 17 yards, and he first down up to the Detroit red zone on the 20-yard line. Henry running over to the left side. Bailey and Holt combined for the tackle. 2nd and 7, Lossman looking to pass, throwing it over the middle to Bobby Shaw, who has some room, makes a man miss, and he is in the end zone. Bobby Shaw with the reception, a great evasion of a tackle over the middle, and a touchdown for the Buffalo Bills, and we'll see that one more time. Lossman with time to throw it, finds that one over the middle. Bobby Shaw loses his 2 defenders. It looks like I couldn't even tell who that was. 23 over the middle, one of our backups maybe. Couldn't make the tackle, and we get the ball back, but Deshaun Foster is loving making big plays today. Finds the pass on the left side. He gets a man to miss on that little spin move, and that is a 34-yard gain to bring the Lions all the way up to the 46-yard line. And we just need one more throw right after that. Great route running by Charles Rogers. Absolutely shakes Lawyer Malloy of all players, and he gets a little fancy, avoiding the hit. A 46-yard touchdown pass from Alvin Fowler to Charles Rogers. We'll see that one more time. A beautiful pass, beautiful route running, and good speed, and a little bit of showboating as we get into the end zone, and the Bills take it back, and we get a fumble. Bulls on the turf before we can even talk about it, and it is recovered by Buffalo. Lucky that brings up a 2nd and 15. Lossman's going to complete that one to Evans, getting 4 of those yards back. Fernando Bryant making the tackle. 3rd and 11. Lossman dropping back, looking over for Lee Evans, who is all alone over the middle. He makes the reception. That was a 17-yard gain. We're now up at the Buffalo 37. Lossman screenplay pass to the left side, not quite set up well enough. Bly and Cash combined for the tackle on Henry. That's a 2nd and 8. Lossman completes it to Moulds for 2 yards. Dre Bly makes the tackle, and unfortunately Eric Moulds goes down with some sort of an arm injury. Maybe he, twisted something the wrong way as he hit the turf, and we would not see Eric Moulds for the rest of this game. And then Dre Bly takes advantage of the new receiver by getting an interception. His first of the game, tries to get a little bit extra yardage out of it, and Dre Bly, finally looking like a number 1 lockdown cornerback, steps in front of that pass on this rainy day in Buffalo, gets the interception, and hands the ball right back to the Lions at the Buffalo 47. Deshaun Foster's going to get up the middle there. Takeo spikes, make sure that it's no gain. 2nd and 10. This time Fowler's dropping back, looking to pass, slinging it over the middle. Had Charles Rogers there, couldn't quite hold on to the wet pigskin. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 10. Fowler looking for a first down all in one shot. Maybe waited a little bit too long to hit that receiver. It was Charles Rogers trying to streak over the middle, and that is a 3 and out for the Lions. The Bills get the ball back on their own 16. Henry gets up the middle for 5 yards. Navarro getting off the line and getting a tackle. Lossman throwing it over to the right side. Bad coverage from Fernando Bryant, and he's going to get a 50-yard gain. That's Evans getting 50 yards over the right side. It's a first down at the Detroit 30, and Lossman has officially thrown for over 2,000 yards this season. So 2 quarterbacks going for over 2,000 yards in their season against us in this episode. Henry gets a 9-yard gain on the tackle from Holt, and then he loses one on the tackle from Zach Thomas, having a really, really strong game after having a pretty quiet one in the last game against the Vikings. After another great hit from that tackle on Holt, we get a 45-yard field goal. No good from the Bills, and it sails all the way to the right side, and we get a chance to put some points on the board before we wind into halftime. 1st and 10 from the Lions 36. Foster runs to the left side for 4 yards. Vincent's in there on the tackle. 2nd and 6. We find Charles Rogers running to the outside, gets out of bounds like a good man, and that's an 8-yard gain and a first down to the Detroit 48. Fowler does find Rogers for no gain on that one. We're forced to call a timeout. 2nd and 10 from the shotgun. Obviously going to keep with the pass this time. This time we've got Roy Williams on the outside. Tried to get it out of bounds. Couldn't quite get it there. We decided to take another timeout, but we only need one more play. Derek Hamilton getting a step on his receiver. That's a 36-yard touchdown reception. Thanks to the speed from Derek Hamilton, we couldn't believe it when we saw their safety dropping. We decided to go for it as soon as the other safety baited to the right side, and Derek Hamilton on a beautiful touch pass from Alvin Fowler gives us a 21-14 advantage as we're not going to head into the half just quite yet. And as you know, we don't show special team stuff unless something happens. And this time, it's a good thing for the Lions. We get a forced fumble on the kickoff thanks to the rainy conditions. And Hillen picks up the ball and gives us a 28-14 lead, just like that. Literally like 20 seconds of game time. Brian Walker comes in and makes the hit. Our veteran strong safety who graciously went to the bench after drafting Sam Hamilton, who has been amazing for us as strong safety, but he's making plays on special teams, and we go into the locker room at halftime up by 2 whole touchdowns, 28-14, and we're looking to hold on to this one for the victory. But if you can see this tail of the stats tape, this one has been pretty much even the entire time. We're barely outgaining the Bills. The time of possession has been pretty even. And if it wasn't for that big play at the end of the half, we would have had a tie ball game, but instead we're just going to hang out 28-14. The Bills do get the ball back, and they miss the first pass, but on the second pass, Lossman's going to throw that one to Bobby Shaw, who has a step behind his defenders, and he's past the 30, the 20, the 15, the 10. Boss Bailey almost gets him, but he tackles him into the end zone, and Bobby Shaw has his 2nd touchdown reception of the day. So Eric Moulds goes down, and the Bills receiving corps does not miss a step. We're going to take another look at this one. It looks like Terrence Holt maybe got a little bit too aggressive on that attempt to get the interception, and Dre Bly was not in a good position to try and cover that one, and Bobby Shaw makes them pay for it with a huge 74-yard touchdown reception. So just like that, the Bills are right back within 1 score, and we need to try and get back on the board if we want some insurance going into this one. Foster gets up the middle for 5 yards and then 6 yards after that, moving the chains up to the Detroit 31. Foster's going to get the toss to the right side. Schobel breaks right through untouched for a loss of 3 yards, 2nd and 13. Fowler throwing over the middle for Charles Rogers, having an incredible game so far. Another 15-yard gain. Foster getting the toss to the right side. It's like that, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results. Another toss to the right, another loss of 3 yards. This time the pass to the left flat is going to be incomplete, bringing up a 3rd and 13. Fowler throwing that one to Foster again, who makes the completion but can't break the tackle. Harris makes it. That's going to give the ball back to the Bills at their own 12. Lossman's going to try and scramble away. That one's going to be credited by a sack for Navarro, our rookie breaking through and making the play. Lossman going to throw that one incomplete to the left side, but this time on the 3rd and 10, he's going to find Lee Evans, who again has a step on the defender. So our secondary are not making the coverage plays that we need them to make so far. And as you can see, Lee Evans and Bobby Shaw are doing a great job, each over 100 yards for the day. So with Eric Moulds out with an injury, they are not missing him too terribly. Henry shakes a defender for a run up the middle for 10 yards. Lossman's going to throw this one to Henry on the right side, getting 4 yards out of the play. Norris in there on the stop, the rookie making the play. Direct snap to Henry, getting no gain on this one. Cash and Norris were right on that one. 3rd and 6. Lossman's going to drop back. He's going to roll out, throw it to his right side for Henry, who's going to make the catch, but only get 2 yards on the big tackle from Chris Cash. A great play from the backup cornerback stepping in for the injured Sam Farmer, and that's going to give the Lions back the ball at their own 9. Schlesinger getting up the middle for no gain, and then Fowler dangerously throws that one up, bobbled around by a couple of Bills defenders. Ball's incomplete. 3rd and 10. Fowler trying to keep a drive alive and not just have a 3 and out, but Derek Hamilton misses his 2nd play of the day. You hate to see it, but he did have that big touchdown reception, so I don't think we're going to yank him just yet. The Bills do get the ball back with great field position, but Henry gets up the middle for no gain. Navarro continuing to have a great game getting through for the tackle there. Henry gets 3 yards up the middle from that one. Bly making the tackle before he could do any more damage. Lossman's pass is going to go over the middle, falling incomplete on the deflection from Fernando Bryant, but the call from the referees is going to be a defensive holding call by Boss Bailey, who we were user controlling. So this is a learning moment for me, I should say, is that I got to make sure I don't hit guys running across the middle when they're on their route like that, or it's going to get called as a defensive holding. So a free first down for the Lions up at the Detroit 37. Henry only gets 2 yards up the middle. Pearson, who's in for the injured Freeman, gets the tackle, and he gets another one, this time a loss, bringing him back to a 3rd and 9. Lossman's going to throw that one over to the right side. It's caught, but it's caught out of bounds, and we head into the 4th quarter with the Lions getting the ball back with some time to put some extra space between them and the Bills. Heading into the 4th, they're still up by a score of 28-21, but they are deep in their own territory. Foster getting the 5-yard run up the middle for a little bit of breathing room. Honestly, I don't know why I kept going back to the right side toss. At least we didn't lose any that time. So Fowler drops back. We see that no one is covering Roy Williams down the field, and it's a foot race crossing the 40, the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, and he gets tackled. 82-yard gain from Roy Williams. The Bills sold the blitz. They left Roy in one-on-one coverage, and you don't want to leave Roy in one-on-one coverage. I've learned that you just let him do the step back, you hit him in his stride, and if you don't wait too long, you're not going to get sacked, even if they're sending heavy blitz like that. So Fowler completes the pass to Roy Williams. That's an 82-yard gain, and suddenly we're all the way up at the Buffalo 10. Foster getting up the middle for just 1 yard. Takeo Spikes getting in there for the tackle. Fowler going to drop back, throwing this one over the middle. Steven Alexander making a good grab. London Fletcher making the tackle, but it's a 3rd and 1. Foster getting up the middle, but he's going to lose 3 yards. Great push from the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills. We take the 21-yard field goal by Hansen, and we extend it to a 2-score game by a score of 31-21. The Bills taking over from the 29. Lossman found Shaw for 8 yards, and then Henry gets another 8 yards up the middle, bringing it up to the Buffalo 46. Henry gets another 6 yards up the middle. Chris Hovan getting the tackle, dropping back off the line in coverage. Henry getting up the middle for 4 yards. Norris makes the tackle. It's going to be 3rd and inches. Lossman going to drop back, throw it over to the left side. Pass is called incomplete, but it's also called a defensive pass interference. Andre Bly. That one was really, really close. I thought he was playing good pass defense. The refs thought otherwise. That's a first down for the Bills up at the Detroit 34-yard line. Lossman can't complete that first pass to his tight end. 2nd and 10. Lossman dropping back, throwing it to Shaw, who catches that over on the left side. Pearson making the tackle. It's a gain of 3 yards. 3rd and 7. Lossman throwing it over the middle, finding Smith over the middle. That's a 12-yard gain and a first down. The first to catch for the rookie Smith on the day. Henry running up the middle for 1 yard. That's going to be a stop from Hovan and Navarro combined in there. 2nd and 9. Lossman dropping back, throwing it to the left side, bouncing off of his tight end's hands. Once again, tough day for the tight ends of the Buffalo Bills. I don't think that they've made a catch so far, and Boss Bailey uses his speed to make the sack, and the field goal is up and good. That is a 46-yard field goal from the Buffalo Bills. It's now back to a one-score game, and the Bills will attempt the onside kick. It bounces up, it bounces again, it bounces a third time. I was screaming very loudly into my microphone, and thankfully Coburn falls on the ball, and the Lions take over with a chance to really put this one away. 1st and 10 from the Buffalo 48, and Deshaun Foster immediately makes some magic on the run to the left side, breaks loose, crosses the 20, the 15, the 10, makes a man miss, but does get chased down. That's going to be a 40-yard run over to the left side, and that gives us a 1st and goal from the Buffalo 8. Najee Davenport getting a run with the tired Foster on the bench for a moment, only gets 1 yard. Foster going over to the right side. Lauren Malloy gets the tackle for another gain of just 1 yard. 3rd and goal. Foster's going to run it again, gets a good 4-yard gain, but he is injured on the play. Took a shot to the arm as he spun around. He is hurt. That sucks for us, and I didn't pay attention to the wind, and I was pissed that he got hurt, and we missed the field goal. So we leave the door open on the gimme of a field goal missed by Hansen. It was only a 19-yarder. I don't want to talk about it. Lossman's first pass is incomplete. Lossman's second pass is incomplete. It was closer to being completions to Lions these first 2 times. Lossman's going to drop back, finally gets a catch from a tight end, but he doesn't manage to get it in stride. Campbell falls for just 4 yards. 4th and 7, the Bills have to go for it. They sling it up, and this time Sam Hamilton, our savior, the Stanford man, makes a 2nd interception in as many days, and we're going to close the door officially on this one as the Bills were out of timeout, so we were just able to kneel this one out to the very end, and we're going to see Sam Hamilton work his magic so far. I mean, player of the games, it's got to be Sam Hamilton. 2 interceptions, a bunch of tackles, one of them returned for a touchdown, and he seals the win for us in this one. So we're going to go into the end of the episode 2-0. We love that. We won 2 games in a row. We're 6-4 overall. And the final from Buffalo, the Lions playing spoiler to the Bills by a final score of 31-24. Taking a look at the final stats for the day, no one really got anything truly going on the ground, although we did finish with 92 yards overall to their 71, so good job by us holding Henry to a decent game. But of course, we do lament the loss of Deshaun Foster, and we'll see how long he's out for. But taking a look at it, Fowler throwing 13 for 21. Great game for him. 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So Fowler has no interceptions thrown in these 2 games. Another good job by Fowler, a good job by the rookie. As you see here, Deshaun Foster had a great game, 18 attempts, 93 yards, and we held Travis Henry to just 2.8 yards per carry. So good job by us there. He did manage a touchdown, but as did Deshaun Foster. It's a bummer that he's out, but we'll see how we manage without him moving forward. We'll see how long we'll have to manage without him moving forward. As we discussed earlier in the game, Lee Evans and Bobby Shaw had a heck of a game for the Bills, especially with Eric Moulds going out. But Roy Williams was a big hero of the day, getting those big receptions for big plays to get us in positions to win. Derek Hamilton and Charles Rogers, however, were the 2 to receive touchdowns in this game. Terrence Holt, 9 tackles overall. Zach Thomas, 9 tackles overall. Chris Cash, 5 tackles overall. Cedric Navarro, 6 tackles overall. Great job by our defense today. Great job by Grant Norris getting in there and Fernando Bryant. Boss Bailey and Cedric Navarro getting sacks. The Bills didn't have any sacks on us in this game. Awesome stuff. Boss Bailey with 2 pass deflections. Grant Norris doing a good job covering over the middle. And of course, Dre Bly and Sam Hamilton, our hero, making those interceptions when it matters. So 2 games up, 2 games won. You can see here we're currently standing at 6-4. We have the Philadelphia Eagles also at 6-4, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming up. And unfortunately, we're going to be without Deshaun Foster and Sam Farmer for a large part of the rest of our season. So Deshaun Foster has a torn bicep, and Farmer has a neck strain. Hopefully he comes back sooner rather than later. And as you can see, we're right in the mix, baby. 6-4. A couple of victories puts us at the top of the NFC North. As we take a quick look at the AFC, the Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champions, currently are the best team in the AFC by far, standing at 9-1. And as you can see here, there's a lot of teams vying for the playoffs. You can see Philadelphia, currently at 6-4, is one of those teams that's currently in the playoffs. So if you believe in our ability to make those playoffs, make sure you smash that sub button, and we will be back next time with the Eagles and the Buccaneers. If you've already subbed up, or if you haven't, be sure to like and comment on the video as well. And thanks so much for being here. This is Peanuts 24/7. We'll see you on the next one.